Welcome to Never Too Serious with Scott and Dave. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
Merry Christmas, Dave.
Yeah, to you too. Merry Christmas.
Little holiday edition of the Never Too Serious podcast. And because it is the holiday season, lots of stuff going on. We got Thanksgiving wrapped up, got Christmas here, and the new year getting started around the corner.
I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Are you really?
I am, but at the same time, it's so crazy because I want to always get there to something I might appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I want life to slow down, way down.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always catching myself going, oh, let's hurry up. I want these 2 or 3 weeks to get over with because I have 2 weeks off coming up.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
I should appreciate it. Don't rush to that because I really hate how fast life is going right now.
I agree. This year, so I am generally a relatively like bah humbug kind of person, and it's like Christmas time is kind of like a disappointment a lot of times for me, and it has been for quite a few years. But part of it's just me, what's going on between my ears. It's not really. It's just a mental thing. So for me, this year I thought I'd take a different approach. And I started listening to Christmas music before Thanksgiving. Are you getting heartburn? So my wife, so there's a local radio station, K103, that always has some sort of mystery start date for their all Christmas music, show. And this year was before, I don't know what the previous years were, but this year was before Thanksgiving. And I drove my wife's vehicle for a little while, and it was on the radio, and I just didn't bother to change the station and listen to it. And I had her vehicle, I want to say a couple of days, and that's all I listened to. And that made me start thinking, you know what? Maybe this year I should approach Christmas differently.
And why would you do that?
Because there is some, I don't know if it's a romantic, nostalgic sort of feel to Christmas. And for me, it puts me in a better mood. Every single time I have Christmas music on, especially if it's the ones from my childhood, even though Christmas during my childhood, I still kind of was a little bah humbug at times. And
you had to share everything with 2 other brothers.
Yeah, well,
one older, one younger. That had to suck.
Yeah, well, and there's just different times, my childhood, where things were good and sometimes they were not so good. But having some classic Christmas music has always put me in a good mood. And so I thought, well, maybe this year I'm going to start listening to it earlier. And I have. I haven't listened to it the whole time, but I have definitely started listening to Christmas music.
Salt and pepper in there here and there.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I don't typically watch Christmas or holiday movies except for like Elf. Stuff that my daughter likes to watch, and sometimes, we'll do a movie night or something, and it'll be some sort of Christmas movie. But I've already watched, I think, 3 or 4, maybe even 4 or 5 Christmas movies so far this year. I know.
You're getting out of hand.
Minus the last 3 days.
Come Christmas, you're going to be sick of it.
Well, the last 3 days have been pretty rough at work, just mentally rough at work. And so, but other than that, I've felt pretty darn
a little bit more
festive.
upbeat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you? I mean, because you and I have kind of shared our bum huggery. Is that Bob Bung?
I have never shared my bung hungary with Scott ever.
Hungary. How would you put that into a? Yeah, we're kind of negative come Christmas time. How's your Christmas spirit this year?
Well, unfortunately, I got to say it's probably about the same. Which doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. It just means I don't enjoy it like. It sucks because I'm thinking about some stuff because I know how I feel. To come Christmas, I don't ever sit down and go, well, I wonder why I'm feeling that way. But I it's not how I used to remember it.
Okay.
And as I was saying, I was like, yeah, you idiot, you can make it how you want it. Instead of sitting there and going, I'm not saying it is this, but cross my arms going, it's not how it was. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
But excuse me, but there was a lot of key players that what made Christmas for me that aren't here anymore.
Oh.
You know, my grandma, my uncle Chris, his mother. I could say my dad's mother, but yeah, we'll go with Uncle Chris. And amazing. It made me feel great. It was Christmas Eve. Every Christmas Eve, you know you're going over there. It doesn't matter if it's snowing. You're going over to Grandma's, and you felt special, even though everybody was there. My aunt, you know, she was the amazing cook and cooked everything, and it felt like family. It felt like fun. It felt like everybody's there, maybe not for themselves, but for you, you know, and I'm there for everybody else. You know, you could give everything because everybody's giving back to you. It just felt.
So it was really about the people.
Oh yeah, that's same with family reunions. You know, a couple key players go, and unfortunately, all the leaves fall off the tree. You know, but guess what? You know, she passed, and it's just how people take it. You know, like we didn't gather anymore there, and so could I have taken it and you know maybe you know the torch of the good times and start something new? Maybe, but it's awfully hard to do without my grandma. Yeah, you know, and to think about it that way. So, and it's not just. Oh.
How old were you when she passed?
Well, I'm fortunate to say I was in my 20s.
Okay.
She got to come see my wife. She got to go to my wedding and to go hang out at my first house. And so it was very, very fortunate to have her that far along.
But yeah, into your adult years.
Yeah. And yeah. And so I had Christmas was good for a while, you know, because that made it a lot. Because my home life kind of, they did good for what they could do, but you know, I won't get into it too much unless you ask questions. But
we're doing a deep dive. Dave.
Well, you know, and the other negative is in my life, you know, certain times people could say, you know, hey, you know what, Christmas really sucked this one time because of a situation that happened on Christmas, and it could put a damper on it. You may not look forward to it, or, you know, and, you know, we had some family issues, you know, where my dad decided to, I'll just say it quickly, decided to want to break up a family on Christmas Eve. In fact, right after we left Grandma's.
Oh, no.
Having all up on a high, everybody feeling happy and glad. And
did that sort of bitter several years of Christmas to follow? Or was that just one of these things that you look back on and you go, oh, that could have been one of the reasons why I don't look at it the same way?
Well, I will say this. It was luckily that my grandma was still with us quite a bit after that. So it was more of, you know, screw you, dude.
Yeah.
And I could still carry along with Christmas and screw you, dude, kind of, you know. I'm not trying to be negative, you know, because he's gone, but you know, but after she left, it was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And that's rude, because my mom, she's always there for me and always did Christmas all the time for us. And
but that's a different side of the family.
It is. Right? Yeah. It is. But it's what made it a whole, you know. I mean, we have our traditions that we do now that we'll talk after a bit here probably about traditions, but you know, it could be a negative on my own part where maybe I just look at the negative things, and maybe that steers me sometimes, you know, a certain direction in life, where sometimes the positive things is what gets me going in the other direction.
So you'd mentioned, you know, your aunt was a good cook. Your grandma made you feel special. Oh, yeah. Were there traditional things that were done that you look back on, you go, gosh, I wish I could rekindle that tradition? I mean, minus those people. Well,
no. I want to see those people.
Yeah.
My Uncle Chris and my aunt and you know, hate to break it, but even my dad and my mom that was there, and my other uncles, and then the kids or the cousins, you know, and we just all mostly clicked, you know. I mean, there were some times some of the family members like upset other family members here and there, but all in all.
Was this one of these where you just traveled to your grandma's and that was the spot every year?
Yep.
Okay.
Same house. And, we would go and it wouldn't be just, we'd be there a couple hours. We'd spend the day and night there and sit there and have a great old dinner. And then, I mean, my grandma, this is no lie, because it was so many people, my grandma went all out for people and for everyone. And she would have a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
And the Christmas tree would be, close to the ceiling. And you only see this much at the top of the Christmas tree. It was packed
Covered
of presents and stuff. And we didn't sit there going, oh, hurry up, where's my turn? Because it was just fun.
Yeah.
But it's not, but don't let it take away that I love having Christmas. I love that I have the time that my wife and I, that we do.
You have the time off.
My wife and I and kid to have our Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And so we try to set up, especially right after we had our daughter, same with my sister, that we wanted to, we need to have a plan, because how we used to do it is Christmas Eve with grandma and then Christmas Day with our mom or mom and dad, I guess. And well, we want that for our kids on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, Mom, but we're going to have to break that to create something new.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump into what, and then I'll have to ask you what we do now, which is our tradition. Mm-hmm. I live right next door to my mom, and my sister probably lives 3 miles away ish. And so we do a traveling Christmas, to where this year, I'm going to be coming up with a Christmas game. So we're going to come over to our house. Everybody comes over, and we're going to play whatever game and win prizes and stuff.
Oh, fun.
And then we're going to go over to my sister's house, and then she's going to be cooking dinner.
Oh, okay.
Good. I don't even care what it is. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
She's a good cook.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rude. I'm a good cook. She's a great cook. And and I'm not just saying it because she doesn't even listen to this. So
I've had some of her food.
Yeah, she does really good.
Is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, moment of silence for her cook. Okay. And then after that, and mind you, we're at each place for an hour and a half or so.
But you guys are so dang close to each other.
Right.
That's
that
the
we get to
beauty
do
of
it.
Yeah.
And then we go over to my mom's, and we have dessert, and then we have open up presents.
Oh.
And
that sounds really nice.
It is nice, and it's something that I will say that we did create some our own traditions, and then we get to have Christmas morning with our kids.
Yeah.
So it actually worked out, but I think there was a little, I'm not going to even say button heads, but bumper boats a little bit about how we're going to do this, because I got to be selfish a little bit for my kid.
Yeah.
Because I want to create that Christmas morning feeling, So, But so what do you do?
Well, okay. So I think this is probably where a lot of the disconnect is for, why Christmas has not in the past been this thing I look forward to. As a child, there were stages where we would spend a fair amount of time just with our immediate family. Like, I loved my family. My younger brother and I were only a year and a half apart. And so we'd butt heads on stuff, but we still had very similar interests, toys that we played with and that sort of thing. Older brother, he seemed so much older at the time that he was totally interested in other stuff.
Sure. But
Christmas early on, we still did stuff together as a family, and we didn't have a whole bunch of money, so it wasn't like we had tons of presents or anything, but it felt really good. Now, there were some years though where it didn't stay that way, and we had to travel, and that sticks with me more than the times where we spent Christmas just together. Where we just, even like on Christmas Day, we'd be traveling around and we'd hit 3 different places, or maybe more. I don't even remember. Unfortunately, I blocked out some of this stuff, but
probably for good reason, right?
But I have memories of going over to my great grandma's house, and this is on my mom's side, as well as going over to my grandma's house on my dad's side, and then hanging out with some cousins and the uncles, and it just seemed like there was so much traveling around, and I really, as a kid, just wanted to feel like comfortable and free, and so many of these people, I was very shy, and so going there stressed me out. And our families, not everyone got along really well, and so there's always this stress of conflict, tension, and then the food. I never was really a big fan of like potluck style food. And a lot of the places that we would eat, there was just like weird stuff, and I didn't have I mean, there were some years where it was very traditional, dressing and turkey and that sort of thing. So I do have some good memories, but there just seemed to be like there's so much travel, and then the other side was we didn't have very much money, and so sometimes there was years where Christmas gifts were very sparse, and I think what would have made up for it would be something like what you're talking about, which is really quality family time, playing board games together and some of that stuff. Some of that just didn't stick out as something we did. Yeah. Now, I do recall playing board games with the uncles and my grandma, and so there were in some instances. It's just, it seems so scattered and not consistent that...
It's not something that you knew you were going to go next year to have more of.
Yeah. So as I got older, I cared less and less. I was always disappointed, so I stopped really looking forward to it. The other, and this was probably maybe high school years and into college, and that was there's always such a build up to Christmas. There's so many things that the anticipation of something that's going to be so fantastic,
and then the letdown,
and then the huge letdown at Christmas. And so I, through the years, have kind of blocked it out. Now, my immediate family, I get along really well with my immediate family. Closer, like wife and kids, we have a great time together. We all get along very, very well. Our household is pretty dang stable, and it's just a matter of us choosing to do stuff that we like to do. Now, traditions now, we have a tendency to travel. Like, we go camping. We have a travel trailer, and we'll take off. Like we did for Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah.
We took off and spent almost a week at an RV resort and had a great time. We watched some holiday movies together. We ate some really good food. We had a lot of junk food.
Was there a lot of people there?
No, it was kind of empty, which is good for me because I'm not a big people person.
I think that's great.
Yeah. We were just very comfortable. We could do what we wanted to do. We went out for hikes and walks, and it was just nice, really nice. So our tradition that we've had so far has pretty much been us as a family. We go and take off for a couple of weeks during Christmas. Now, we have, on some occasions, spent some time with one group of family. Like maybe one year, we'll go and have dinner at my in-laws, which is fine. It doesn't mean that we're going to be traveling several places at one time. It's like we go there and we have dinner and we hang out, and that's it. And then my dad and my uncles, I love that side of the family. Those they are the most comfortable I am with pretty much anyone. And they are just, I always look forward to them.
So, I don't know, but do they get together like the brothers camp out every Thanksgiving?
They don't always get together as a group.
Then why not?
The folks that are living close will do it.
Is that right?
It was so funny because, not this year, I want to say last year, we hosted Thanksgiving, and my dad and his significant other and Mark and his, and we just had such a great time.
Of course you would.
At our house. And
when you guys leave, you should go, guys, we're totally doing this next year too.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, well, so this year I we had plans to just kind of take off for Thanksgiving, and I call up my dad and ask him, so what do you guys have planned? You guys going to get together? Oh, yeah, we're going to meet over at Sherry's, which is like, I don't know if it's a national chain, but if you think about Denny's, which I think most people, or IHOP, or I don't know what other diner, but it just cracked me up because they're totally fine with it. My wife would never be fine with it.
Well, we don't have to go shopping, see? We don't have to spend a lot of money, see? We don't have to waste time cooking it or cleaning, see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just no leftovers. Well, not that they leave a whole lot
But then you got to go out in public with those guys.
Just kidding. It's so... I love that they are just like okay with it.
Of course, yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, our traditions are changing, certainly through the years, and as Ethan is getting older, and
he's going to start changing your traditions probably.
Well, so Ethan's birthday is day after Christmas, And so, what is he going to be? 20 this year?
No, he is not.
Yeah. And so, normally for his birthday, I take him out on a shopping spree and pay for his stuff. Now, up to a certain limit, of course. But it's always been kind of hanging out together. This year might be different. May not even have him at Christmas this year because he's working a new job and kind of gets stuck with their
I don't
scheduling.
think I like any of that.
So we'll see if we can make that happen. But overall, I know this stuff that we've kind of settled into the last many years may have to change as Ethan grows into an adult and, does adult stuff.
Yep.
So
has kids and wants his dad and mom to come over and from their house when they have kids.
Yep. Yeah, so I know things are going to change, but
that stuff's supposed to be for the better. So
yeah, but again, I started listening to Christmas music, trying to get into the spirit earlier, and I totally think this is what I should be doing. It's so much better for my brain.
You're right.
And okay, so here's the other, and I don't know, maybe we can shift a little bit, but as some folks know, I'm a non-believer. I'm an atheist. I am not into the religious side.
He's just into muss. He doesn't like the Christ part of Christmas.
But the thing is even with my non-religious take on life, I still find that Christmas is a very important thing.
Well, it's easy to do when there's hardly any Christ in Christmas anymore. So
okay, so that is on my topic list to talk about how over-commercialized Christmas is. But I still think traditional Christmas stuff, the religious side of it, the tradition that ties into the religion of Christmas, I think is still worth enjoying even today as a non-believer.
Well, I agree with you 100%. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I know other atheists out there that just love Christmas. They're not, praying it at the meal, and they're not, doing a nativity scene.
That's what's great about America, at least, because they could love Easter too and not remember what it's really for, because there's bunnies and eggs.
Well, yeah, and there are a lot of Christians who don't celebrate it the way the Christians are supposed to be celebrating it. Yeah. So totally get that.
I'm sure I'm one too. I go out there and have my kids run around and looking like bunnies and picking up eggs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So...
yeah, well, so thinking in terms of how Christmas is today versus what it was like, like watching the Christmas Story movie back in the, 50s or 60s, Christmas looks a lot different. Now, I want to say that generation, that was kind of the beginning of real commercialization of Christmas. And today, holy cow, there's Christmas. I mean, they're selling Christmas trees and decorations before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in
it's
a
just
Home
because
Depot.
It's moneymaker, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Home Depot, I think, and they had a huge Christmas display. And normally you'd see all the Halloween stuff, but they had shifted away from Halloween stuff, and that was like a small little section, and it was like this massive area for Christmas stuff.
That could be, believe it or not, part of maybe why it's not so neat for me anymore, is because it's so diluted.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be, this is the time where all this goodness happens right around here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, when you spread it out, and so what? It's just another freaking day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just another day. That's why I really don't care about Valentine's Day. If I do anything for my wife Valentine's Day, it's usually small.
Mm-hmm.
But the things I do for her throughout the year on a random Tuesday, that's where it's at.
Way more meaningful,
to me,
I think. Yeah.
It's not. Those are like self-made traditions, But and I do like the Santa Claus story and stuff. But oh my gosh, it's so. It's like, have you forgotten he's supposed to be jolly and stuff? He's supposed to be like classy or classic. It's hard to say. But now next thing you know, he's like on a surfboard in an anime or something, and it's like and flashy. I'm like,
well, and supposed to have a certain,
it's supposed to be a warmth to him.
Persona. Yeah, exactly. And some of these Christmas movies that are coming out now are just very non-religious, very into Santa and the magical side of Santa Claus. And then the character of Santa is getting farther from a traditional perspective.
Right.
Now, I am not an expert in the history of Christmas. And so what I think of historical Christmas is really 1900s and something or rather, nothing early predating that.
Yeah.
So things do have changed, obviously.
Right.
But
Yeah, we're also kind of talking about our own personal,
yeah.
what things have changed in our own personal life, like tinsel. Is tinsel in your life still?
No, it's a mess.
It was a huge part of my life. Tinseled the hell out of everything. We even reused the tinsel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's where we were at.
Oh.
We took it off and then we replaced it. And yeah, we tinseled. I mean, if there was ever trees that would go up in flames, I mean, the little color wheel that you'd put on, your tree, you'd have those. And we would go.
What about flocking?
My mom, I can't remember a year that, at least in the 20 years I've been married, maybe before that, I can't remember a year that she has not had a flocked Christmas tree. I think she's had a pink one, a blue one, a white one, and I know she has one in her house right now. I know she wouldn't got one. I haven't seen it. I haven't talked to her about it, but I put $100 on it. I'll put $1,000 on it that it's a flocked Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It's just what she likes. So yeah.
Last year we got a fake one, and I fought pretty hard for it because I know for some people the tradition of going and cutting a Christmas tree is a big deal, or picking it up at a pre-cut place.
We just don't want to be bitches anymore.
Well,
we got to still go do the work.
Yeah. Well, for folks that are not from the Northwest or from a wooded area, it might be a much different occasion, experience, tradition.
But you're only like four miles away from.
Well, yeah. So we have tons. I mean, I want to say the majority of the Christmas trees in the United States actually come from this area, this region. And we can just go out into the Christmas tree farm and cut it off ourselves and throw it on the vehicle and go on home and set it up like immediately, fresh, right out of the ground, instead of going to one of these places that's been sitting out for weeks.
Yeah.
But it's such a pain. It's a huge mess. I get pitch on everything every single time that we do it. And of course, I'm the one that's doing most of the work. The family's with me, and they're helping me pick out the tree, and we're arguing about height and size and if this side should just be turned and we'll get that one, or we did see the pink and the blue and these different multicolored flocked trees, but they were so expensive, and I am a cheapskate. So I'm like, no thanks.
They're like I think they're over $100.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, we could get a Christmas tree for $10, $15, and it was like a really nice high-end tree. Yeah. Now we're looking at, even if it's a U-cut, it's like $60 to $95, $100. I want to say the year that was the last year that we got our fresh tree, I want to say we spent almost $90 on the tree, and it's like a 7-foot tree, nothing super special.
Yeah.
And it was such a pain, and it was very messy, not only just taking it home, trimming it up, because we throw it on top of the car, and getting it home, trimming it to whatever size, trying to get the stand on it, getting pitch over everything.
The worst part is the stand.
Yeah, and then trying to get it into the house without getting, marking up the walls or getting pine needles on everything, and then it's the removal of the tree after it's been in your house for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And so to me, it was just such a huge headache. And then it's always like you're trying to find the nicest tree. So we went out and got a fake tree, and I pushed pretty hard for it. And I think we spent less than $300 on it. So it'll be paid off next year. And it looks good right out of the box. I can have the whole thing set up in 10 minutes or less. No mess. I'm not struggling. I'm not worried about spiders left over in the tree.
See, I'm not either. I got a system.
You have a system?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm much happier with the whole setup of, the decorations, and the Christmas tree is one of the big ones. Oh. Are you a fresh Christmas tree person?
Yeah. I don't want it. I've been fighting against getting those. My wife has been wanting some here and there. But this year, because I'm all jacked up with my foot and stuff, and so she went out and got the tree, and perfect, looks great. But Yeah, she does all the decorating, all
Yeah.
the work. I mean, I usually will go out and cut the tree and put the stand on. I did help her put the stand on and stuff and carry it in, but I can't be walking out in the mud and dirt.
Yeah, Mr. Hop Along.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, an old tradition. Now, I think we only did it for 3, maybe 4 years in a row. But when I was a young adult, our group, and I don't recall if you were involved in this, and you might have been. So when we were living on our own, Christmas time, well, we didn't have any money to be going and buying Christmas trees. Who's going to pay for a Christmas tree? I mean, it's just too much money when you have beer to buy. So we made up plans. We tried to have fun with it. We stole Christmas trees.
Yeah.
And so we would go out, like, I can't remember what time, but it was dark, middle of the night. And so example was, we at one time, it was a handful of us, and we make a plan. We go back to headquarters and your house. Yes. And we sit there and talk about the plan. Well, who's going to be driving? And I can't even remember who the driver was. Maybe it was, I don't want to give a name away. Another friend. I'm talking about a crime here.
Yeah.
And so we'd have a driver and go, listen, you go down the road and you turn around. I can't even remember in 1 minute, or I can't remember, because I'll get through that tree in a certain amount of time. And so the two people, one of them was holding the tree, one was sawing, and then so we had it planned out to where people turned around, dropped us off. We grabbed a tree. In fact, I think what we did, we spotted the tree early in the day, and then we came back to the tree, and then we sawed it down like just a few seconds and threw it in just like clockwork in the van and took off down the road, lights off, or for a $12 tree, back in the day. Probably what it was, back in those days. But still, yes, it's bad. But it was kind of a fun little tradition that we'd randomly go steal a Christmas tree to have a Christmas tree.
Really
Sorry,
fun.
Lord.
Yeah.
Breaking one of your 10 commandments on your birthday.
I do recall this. I want to say that many of your greatest plans were hatched at my house.
Of course. The headquarters.
Oh, it is really funny. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it probably happens more so now. I mean, things are so expensive, but the Christmas trees, like the fake ones, are really nice now. They look so much more realistic. I agree
100%. And my wife showed me the $600 Christmas trees that already have lights on them. They're already this and that. Because I hate it. So mind you, I got to tell you this: I have a system, and my wife, she didn't like the idea. But when they're at our last house, so we've been doing my system for a while. She brought in the tree without doing what I was going to do. I'll tell you. And then we'd get up. I got up in the morning, and there were like hundreds of those little spiders all over the ceiling.
Oh yeah,
that's not a good day for Dave.
Oh yeah.
So guess what? System is now implemented. And all I do is we get the tree in, and I know we want to take it right into the house. I get it. No, we're going to take Raid, and we're going to freaking spray Raid on it, and we're going to let it sit outside for a day. No more problems.
Yeah, it gives it the nice little sheen.
It does, doesn't it? And if the cat goes up and licks it, gives her a little buzz. No, I can't handle those spiders and bugs. I've had a lot of insane amount of spiders that's coming off of those before.
Yeah, I found some bird nests before.
Oh, is that right?
So, yeah. It's just such a headache for me. So it's funny because this year actually was a unique year where I did most of the lighting outside. Because when we moved into our new house, I just dragged my feet with having to put up lights because it's just so annoying and tedious. And my wife, bless her heart, she got new Christmas lights this year, and they were so stinking easy to put up.
Yeah.
And so I put them up this year. They look good, and I don't have any regrets about it.
I've been here 9 years and haven't put up one.
Yeah.
My wife would love a house full of lights.
You provide the beer. I'll come over and help you.
I don't think I'd let you go up there on those ladders.
No, we'll rent a lift. What are you, crazy?
Oh, okay, fair. I was like, I'm not going to go there. But we had a gentleman come out, and he was going to do our lights for us. And he wanted like $700. But he'll come and take him down. And the next year it'll be a little bit cheaper because he already put up something. I'm like, My wife is like, yeah, good. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
But
my wife was trying to talk me into that same thing.
I would love it too. I would enjoy it.
I'm a cheapskate.
I just don't. Yeah, for that,
No.
that was too much.
No, there's some sort of like, I don't know, the guy robs me of my testosterone if he's up there putting lights up or fixing something.
That's funny.
I need to be a man. And
I think of it differently these days. I'll put my feet up and go.
Yeah.
I could hire you.
Oh man.
Because there's a time in my life I couldn't afford to even go get a light to even string up on my own. So if I could sit back and go, hey, but by the way, I didn't hire him, so I can't brag about it.
Yeah. But I should change my mindset. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things I should. In fact, on this little conversation, I should change my mindset. I should try harder to heighten, my Christmas experience, not just in a little bit of a day. And I like listening to Christmas music, believe it or not, but I don't like it being so diluted where I have to listen to it all the time. So
where do you get your Christmas music?
I would usually get it from K103.
Yeah, from the radio. Okay.
But all I would do is, yes, there's a handful of songs that I like, but like I just want to listen to Bob Seger's Little Drummer Boy. Oh. So I will just go, okay, I'm just listening, waiting for the song. That's all I'm doing. That's not it. Nope. 2 weeks later, oh, I heard it. Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard that rendition of Little Drummer Boy. I will be looking up on Spotify. I am a subscriber to Spotify, and so I have different, access to different music. And there's a playlist that's a classic Christmas playlist, and the majority of the of the versions of the song are probably 30 years old.
And those are the good ones.
Yeah, and so those ones are the ones that kind of warm me a bit more. My absolute favorite, which the reason it's my favorite is because I grew up listening to it over and over again and never got tired of it, which is A Christmas Portrait. It's like, it's got a combination of, I don't know, like traditional style of like choir stuff, and then Karen Carpenter comes on and starts singing her stuff, and I love her voice and her brother. I can't even remember what his name is. Anyway, but
maybe you should play it on the outro.
Yeah, well, it's copyrighted, so you guys are just gonna have to look it up yourself.
Damn it!
But the the Carpenter's Christmas Portrait album is my favorite, and it's, in fact, I was listening to it on the way here.
Wow. Yeah, because I don't care about, especially when it comes to music, so I don't care. I like Neil Diamond, so I know what it's like to be laughed at for your music. So you like Bob Seger. So,
I do.
So, and he sings the song with passion, not just singing the song. And it's, to me, has always been moving. So, but again, it's also because I'm religious too, and I take it that way, how he's singing it. So I just love it. I don't know. He's just an amazing singer anyways, but that's probably my favorite Christmas song.
I'll have to look for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like some of the traditional stuff, Nat King Cole, all the Rat Pack versions of, Dean Martin singing his stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and I like a lot of choir stuff. And then the other one is Mannheim Steamroller, a little rock and roll version of Christmas. It's like, the symphony that's like heavy metal.
Yep, I know
edition.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
yep.
I really like that one as well. And then there was another one, just slipped my brain, but it's more of like a poppy sort of. It's probably 30 years old too.
Feliz Navidad?
No.
Feliz Navidad.
No, I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know the words.
I do. I just did.
Yeah.
I might have done it wrong.
With an Indian accent.
Don't make fun. That's how gifted I am. Yeah. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But the other is like traditional movies. I was looking around for the Miracle on 34th Street. I haven't seen that one in many, many years, and so I've been looking for that one, but it's not on my streaming channels.
I just don't know why I don't like that movie. I've seen it before, and then I just don't think I've given myself an adult as an adult
that's-
time to go look at it.
That's why I'm looking for it.
Is that right?
Yeah, because the last time I watched it, I didn't care much for it. But I watched it as a much younger kid.
Because I don't mind that style or that older movies.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't intrigued by that movie for some reason.
Our go-to right now is Elf.
Dude, are you kidding me? In my opinion, that's probably the best movie he will ever make. He's made some fun movies too. I'm just saying I like some old classic movies.
Yeah.
That's the best damn Christmas movie I think ever made.
Yes, that will be a classic forever.
I think it's, you know what else I do like too? I also like, I don't know, I know there's several other ones, but Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a great guy. That's a great show too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one too. I watched, I'm just counting now how many movies. I'm probably 5 or 6 now. I watched the National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
I'm sure that's appropriate.
It is hilarious.
It's great, right?
It is hilarious. I've watched quite a few of those streaming now. I can't even remember what service it's on. But I don't. I think I've always seen clips from it, and people have sayings, that they carry on from it. But I don't think that I've watched it in probably 15, 20 years.
Oh, and it must be wonderful to be able to watch that like that again.
I totally appreciate the humor. It's really funny.
Yes, I wish I could see it again for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Same with, to be fair, National Lampoon's Summer Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Was
that the first one, or is it just Vacation?
I think that's the first one. Just Vacation, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you punch Marty Moose in the mouth, in the nose. But that, I do miss the old stuff. I think that we've, at least back in the day, they were at least trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm. Now
it's just like, this is all you're going to get, blah, 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 blah. Like they try to sell you a feeling or it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
There was, now I just feel it's so cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You took so much of the story, and I'm trying to be nice and take the Christ's birthday aside of it, and just talking about the American Santa Claus Christmas.
Yeah, there's some warm feeling you get from a traditional Christmas,
and it's just.
Yeah, I think it's been pulled in a lot of different directions. I think tradition in the family is probably has something to do with that, at least for my case. And doing things on purpose to make it enjoyable for the people around, like taking over for what your grandmother used to do. You taking on your own version. I'm sure your daughter is going to be remembering stuff from her childhood, but
not like that.
Yeah, but but that's the thing, is I think we as parents now, that's kind of our responsibility, not only with our kids but our potential future grandkids, because that's what people remember through the years.
That's what I'm going to wait for, because my grandkids are going to get destroyed with love and whatever the heck. I mean, I feel pretty giving to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she doesn't get everything she wants, but she's well taken care of. And oh man, because I know she's going to do everything right, and because of that, man, when I have grandkids, I'm just going to love it.
Yeah.
I can't even believe I can even have that. I can't even believe I could say that out loud.
Yeah.
To even consider that.
She's getting older.
I know
getting older. Yeah. No, I think that this kind of stuff is going to have to continue for me. I'm gonna reflect back on this, and I think be more purposeful moving forward into the holidays, like the the Thanksgiving to New Year season. I think it needs to encompass more than just Christmas. I think I need to be more proactive about doing these things come up to Thanksgiving.
So I will try to step out of my norm, because usually when I start hearing the ching 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 ching, I'm like, oh
yeah. You know what? I would recommend sitting down and starting off with a movie and trying to work your way into it.
Well, I do like those. I've already watched a few movies, so that's good. I watched a couple of those Santa Clauses, and Elf, and I know we're going to watch Elf again because we're weirdos. But we do have a list of movies, but my wife still won't put Die Hard on there.
That is kind of a
music.
It was done.
Christmas movie.
Yeah, it was done during a Christmas. That's the whole scene. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna add Die Hard because I have that. It's on my little Apple.
And you know, it's a good movie anyways. So I will tell you, there's a movie that has been a tradition of mine since I think I've been married. So since she's found the movie. So I've been telling her about a movie that I loved ever since I was a kid, and I loved it. It's an old Disney. And so she, at one time, this is VHS time, she hunted one down, spent a lot of money on it. Might have been come from Canada. She found one. And so I got it for Christmas and love it. So we're watching it, man, every year, every Christmas. And now it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
And it's oh my gosh,
is it gonna slip your mind?
No, it's Snowball Express.
Okay.
I don't think it has anything to do with Christmas. It has snow, right? It's wintertime. But it's such a fun, family, innocent-ish movie, you know what I mean? That it just feels right, and we watch it every year. It's just a good movie.
I think it's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to start adding a few more movies, and we generally eat dinner together as a family, and sometimes we'll get a movie started and then continue it after dinner. Yeah. So maybe we'll do that again. I've watched enough animated stuff with Brooklyn that it's been. I need something other than animated though. So
yeah.
I guess Die Hard tonight at dinner.
We do we had, which is fun too. On Halloween time, we had a list of Halloween movies to watch. So this kind of gets you in the that fun spirit, if you want to say.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up?
Well, yeah. On that note of trying to be better and more into it, more even for myself.
Yeah. Have a Merry Christmas. You can catch us on social media at the NTS Podcast, Twitter, Parler, and Gettr. More information on our website,
never2serious.com.
Until we see you next time, take care
and be safe.